Hi there. I'm Kathy Caswell, and thanks for showing interest in reducing stress, feeling better, and unlocking your potential. In everyday life, we humans often don't take time to even notice what bothers us. We may or may not tune into the tension, but we think that it's just the way things are. Stress is a natural part of everyday life, and yes, it is, but we often think there's nothing that we can do about it. So, we might experience negative self talk. We might get stuck arguing issues over and over again. We might feel tension in our body that's been there for a really long time. And it can be much easier to notice when someone else is stressed than when you were stressed, right? You notice how someone responds to you a little bit easier than how you were responding to them. So when you're stuck in stressful patterns, it does take a toll on your work, your health, your relationships, and even your finances. Okay. The costs might not always be obvious to you, but there are costs. So think about reactive behavior, like you're doing fine, right? You've got everything under control. You're working hard. You're doing your best. You're strong, controlling the situation and controlling it. But the tension is still there, and it builds and it builds. And then all of a sudden, something snaps. I lost my cool. And it's like a rigid structure, it holds up until it collapses. There's not a lot of flexibility or flow. I know that there's a lot of ways to relieve stress, and it's important to use what works for you. And I offer that logosynthesis is a new model that can support you to relieve what bothers you. Okay. It's a guided change model that allows you to start with the issue that's actually bothering you, right? Just notice that issue that's bothering you at the time. And then it'll guide you to shift the underlying trigger. And it's become my go-to model for a healthy lifestyle practice for several big reasons. The first is that it actually gets to the issue and resolves the trigger. So I'm not stuck in these repetitive reactive patterns, although some of them it does take a while just to get to the underlying issue, or some of them we may have multiple trigger points. Okay. The second reason I love this model is I don't have to spend a lot of time talking about what bothers me. I can just notice my reactions, apply the method, and resolve the trigger. The shifts are immediate and sustained, and it offers me a greater awareness and connection with what's important in my life. If I'm not driven by being busy and having to get things done, then I can feel calmer and really be with what's important. Another reason I enjoy using it is that when the issue's gone, I don't need so much focus on coping mechanisms or stress reduction, right? I don't have to do as many things to relieve my stress because I'm not as stressed. And I'm not as likely to get derailed by how others interpret my reactions. So I'm doing what I believe is right. And, if how I am being interpreted isn't the way that I intend for people to interpret it, I can get derailed, right? So this is a big one because we're not always aware of how other people um, interpret our actions. So things do happen in our lives that bothers us. These are human responses. It's not just you and me. This is a universal thing, right? You have the power to shift what bothers you. But the challenge is to pause and notice it and then commit to doing the work to eliminate the triggers. When you do the work, you'll experience a greater sense of calm and presence. You'll have more energy for what matters most in your life, and it will benefit your work, your health, and your relationships. So if you want to give it a try, I offer a guided video on this channel called How Can I Not Let Things Bother Me? And you can go through the technique. And I also invite you to download the Essence Unlock Potential app. You can get free access to guided videos. And if you want further support to incorporate it in your healthy lifestyle, there is a couple 6 weeks app-based coaching programs that are available. And I will note that I can't do the work for you. But I can guide you if you struggle with the technique, which, it can take a bit of practice, or if the work is feeling too intense, which does happen. So give it a try, notice what shifts, and get in touch if you want further support.